Yo, yeah. Yo. What up? What up? You know how I do. You know how I do with the Dutch angles, baby. You know how I do. Guys, respect women. Do not break the law. Respect authority. Stay on your purpose. Work hard. Put out good energy into the world. Where I put my key. Are you fucking serious? Don't lose your keys, guys. Do not lose your fucking keys. I spent a lot of time fucking looking for your keys. I just had their motherfucking key. You know what I mean? Where the fuck that key go? Where the fuck that key go? That's why you want to have all your ducks in a row. You don't want to spend a lot of fucking time looking for a fucking key, looking for a wallet. Time is money, okay? No, Stan. Time is money, boys. If you're spending a lot of fucking time, I found that motherfucker. If you're spending a lot of time looking for keys, looking for your wallet and all that fucking shit, that's time that you're not spending fucking working on your purpose, enjoying the fruits of your game. You know what I mean? All right. Give me some of that clone, baby. All right. Where are we going? We going. All right, guys. Now. Now, if you can engage a woman's emotions and rattle up her emotions, that means there's something to jottle. Okay? In a relationship, somebody going to chase somebody. The best way to do that is just every once in a while, every 4 or 6 weeks, you know, you use this scheme like once every 6 weeks. Just disappear for like 5 days. You know, where she can't get in contact with you. And then when you show up, just be like, yo, baby, you just seem like you want some space, you know? You seem like you would be a little distant or whatever. You put it on her, you know? That wasn't me, baby. I was just kind of responding to your energy. You gaslight her. You say it with a totally straight face. Don't smile, don't giggle, no nothing. We are trying to cause conflict here, guys. So expect her to buck when you show up. If she ain't saying nothing, what's that tell you? She's supposed to bitch, all right? The day a woman starts bitching is the day she starts caring, all right? That's what I tell you about the silent treatment. As long as you can get her emotions all screwed up, you're doing something good. You gotta get her emotions all rattled up. You gotta get her crazy. You know what I mean? Get her crazy like she ain't eaten 4 days. Crazy. That's what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to just get pumped and dumped by these women regularly, just keep giving them some consistent, steady, boring shit. Okay? The day it becomes boring is she doesn't give a crap. You know? So that's the thing on that, guys. Alright. Sign another loyal Patreon supporter wanted me to talk about dudes being green with envy and jealous of the next man. They wanted me to tell you why it's not good to be jealous of the next man. And I just thought there was no point in that, you know. But it made me think of something that would be useful to talk about. See, the thing is jealousy is always going to be around. All right, there's zero that I could say, fuck, that's not going to make you guys envious of the next person. Now, if you're a jealous hater, you're just going to be a jealous hater. All right? What I am saying is for all you guys that are out there focusing on your passion purpose. If you stay on that 5 years from now, your life will not be that. You're going to have friends hating on you. Alright, so I'm getting more into real estate, and I'm watching Greg Cardone and Dave Ramsey and all these guys. These guys have so many haters, you can't even believe it. These are good guys trying to help people. And then, these are just good guys. You can see why my channel would have haters, right? It's kind of over the top, right? It's like AMS. But when I see good dudes just trying to teach dudes how to invest in real estate and how to not go into debt, and they got people just blowing them up, hating on them, and they got so many other small real estate and financial channels just hate, you know. Now you can see why a guy says, "Oh, I bag host souls. We would have some haters," you know. But how is Dave Ramsey and Greg Cardone giving out this solid financial advice, and they got more haters than me? The point is, it doesn't matter what you do. When you become a star of any magnitude, you're gonna have haters. That stuff just goes hand in hand. All right. You could have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You're gonna have people want to be you, and who are gonna hate on you. You gotta rise above it all. You know? Now, at times in the past, I have not navigated hate well. When people throw a bunch of hate at me, sometimes it can get me off my center. They can't do that to me these days. All right, I've become accustomed to it. I've gotten thicker skin. I've learned to navigate that shit more elegantly. What I'm telling all of you is that you will get thicker skin. You'll get accustomed to it. Can anybody up on this YouTube get me off my center now? You know? In the past, there's been things where people got me rattled and off my center. And a lot of times they want to do that because they want you out of their scene because they don't want the competition. So they're going to do stuff and you gotta watch your attitude of entitlement, because if you walk into a situation and you're going to be entitled to haters who don't want competition, not pump faking you and trying to get you off your center and get you to flip out, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're acting entitled. You got to understand. You got to expect that shit, especially if you're tall, especially if you're white, especially, if you got anything that if you're being honest with yourself has been an advantage to you in life, well, just realize you're going to be paying a tax on that. Haters is going to come out in full force. All right. I'm used to this shit now. I was a high school basketball star. I've got so much hate directed at me. You know what I mean? I'd go up in the gym and it would just be hate, especially in Carson. Especially in Carson. They didn't play fair in Carson. Paget. Shout out Chris Rand. Shout out Coach Kyle Schleen. Shout out Matt Griffin. All right. Shout out Joe Tierney. Shout out Jason Battis. See, I remember all these cats.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Union Street.
Here's what you need. Shout out Kurt Orlich, South Tahoe. Shout out Jason Easer. You just gotta feed her sweet nothings, baby. You know what I want to be with you. You gotta feed that woman sweet nothings after you do some bullshit like gaslight her with some manufactured drama. If you go out with a girl, but you ain't did shit but validate her and feed her a compliment on her dress, don't be telling me that's a scrap you fed her. That's not a fucking scrap. That's a fucking compliment. You've been validating full time, and that's why you're in a drought. You ain't got no rotation, and that's why your retention rate is way down. Okay. I've been listening to some of that Todd B lately. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed. And I think it'll to listen to short dating coaches. I think they've got a real, like, I've always looked at short men with swag as like, yeah, bro, you could learn something from that motherfucker. All right. And it's almost like being short and made it their fucking greatest strength, because it forced them to get game. 6'3", 3/4 stocking feet. Okay, so I'm a 6'4" cat, and as a tall dude, it reminds me to fucking not rest on my laurels, because these short dudes are not, and they inspire me. And you gotta get game tight, gentlemen. You gotta stay on your purpose. You gotta keep it moving. You know what I mean? And that's something I'm working on, is having short friends and combining powers with them. Disarming the short man who has fucking made me predisposed to anger, bitterness, jealousy towards me. I love the Nirvana, the short Kurt Cobain and the super tall Novoselic.
Continue straight to stay on Union Street, then turn right up to Stockton Street.
Having sex with female is my job. I don't get paid for it like that, but you know what I mean? But, sometimes being too deep into females can prevent you from playing around with your new toys, getting on your purpose, in developing your shit, you know. So, but that's the beautiful thing about being a dating coach is having sex with women and dating them is part of my job. You know, I don't get paid for like a hired dick, but you know what I mean. I want to break down game, and what game is your strategy. And I'm gonna break down the 4 strategies that men use. And the least strong strategy, they can all work, is the thing. You know what I mean? The first strategy would be being like a male friend route.
Take the next left onto Grant Avenue, then turn left onto Filbert Street.
All right. And I'm going to get into those strategies in a minute. The next video. One second, I'm going to go spit
Next
game.
left onto Grant Avenue, then turn left onto Filbert Street. All right, we back. That didn't take too long. I hope you did your sets of fucking push-ups while you were fucking doing it. Guys, it doesn't take that much to fucking, beat out other cats in this social Darwinism of having a better body. You fucking have a flat stomach to get yourself fucking laid. All right? All right. here's the 4 different strategies I've seen men do. I've done all of them and I've had success doing all of them. Okay. The first strategy would be the male friend route. All right. That's when you're friends with a girl. This is the weakest, shittiest fucking strategy. Some cats make it work pretty good, but they're patient, meticulous motherfuckers. And you ain't getting the good sex that way. The next route is what we know as the beta male provider route. This is where you try to lead with your money and your ability to provide. You show her that you're successful and what you can do for her, and show her your car and how you dress, and taking them to nice restaurants and all that. On the first date, that's the beta male provider route. That what you're basically saying there is, if you get with me, I can do all this financial stuff. The next strategy is what I call the high value male route, and that's what I do. You pursue your purpose and let women chase your validation. That's the code. That's the code you should be living by. Your time is limited. Your time is valuable. That's the high value male route. Okay. It's having your own crib, car, you're on your purpose, you're at the gym. The little bit when I give you some of my time, you better not let go, because I'm a high value male. Now, the last route is kind of like that Alan Roger Curry direct approach route, the mode 1 route. You meet a woman, you let her know right off the get-go that you want sex. I usually use this on vacation, or when she's on vacation. I want to know there's a short, finite period of time to close a deal. All right? I used this strategy a little while back. From I was in LA, and the direct approach, you know, and the smut shuttle's beautiful for that, because logistically it takes out a lot of problems. Guys, there's plenty of guys around here that have married a girl that they were friends with for years. Okay, it's just which one of these strategies do you want to use, and which one best fits your strengths and weaknesses. We get the pros and cons of taking each of these different routes. The cons of the friend route is it's going to take you a very long time. Basically, what you are is you're waiting in the shadows to catch her vulnerable. You're playing her friend, and I have to couple of my friends like this, and it took years. This is back when I was a teenager and into college.
300 feet, turn right onto Powell Street.
I have a few of them that I was friends with like for 10 years. You know, it took me like seven years before I got in. You know, now you could, but I don't want to do that. She knows you want to F. All right, you're not fooling anybody. All right, you thinking, oh, she doesn't know, guys. She knows. If you have an attractive friend, she is not stupid. Okay. She might play stupid, but she knows. She catches you looking at her. If you don't think, women have phenomenal peripheral vision. They'll catch you looking at her. You're not getting by. You're not fooling anybody. All right, she's just using you for your non-sexual attention. And that's the cons to that. That friend route that's for you patient cats. I ain't got that patience. Now, the pros to it is she uses you for your non-sexual attention, but she don't use you for money. You know, when you're friends with a girl, you're friends. And when y'all go do something, she pay for what she got and you pay for what you got. So you really don't spend that much money when you're doing this friend route shit. And she ain't going to want you to spend any money because she knows that's taking it out of the friend frame. You catch them when they're vulnerable, but you never spend any money on them, you know. And you catch them during a breakup or when they gain some weight or something, and then you sneak in the back door, you know, when they're vulnerable. It can be done, but
Head east on Filbert Street,
that's the
Stockton
pros
Street.
to coming in that route. You really spend no money, you know. The con about that is it's going to take you a long, long time, and you got to give her a lot of your non-sexual attention. All right. Usually when you're friends with a girl, especially when you're young,
Head west
you
on
wind up
Filbert
talking to
Street
her on the
toward
phone
Elizabeth
all the
Avenue.
time and going to museums and all that bullshit.
Turn left
All right.
onto Union Street.
Now, I disagree with AMS in some ways because I think you can help pass your time and give off that impression of being a high value male by killing time being friends with other women. All her friends know that you want to F her. You know what I mean? If you friends with Justin Frischman, if you're friends with Ariana Grande, she knows you want to fuck her. You're not fooling anybody. All right, so don't go that route, guys. The next route is the beta male provider route. And this is the one that seems just really try hard. A try hard is somebody who shows up on the date. He got his Movado watch on. He's got a Saya shirt on. He got to put his keys on the table to let you know what kind of badge mobile he's driving. Now listen, if you're a high value male, and you're successful, just let shit play itself out. You don't got to be showing up on the date trying to lead with your money and stuff like that there. All right, now listen, guys. The only women that is gonna, if you do this with a woman who's got her own shit, she's gonna lose attraction to you. The only woman that this is gonna impress is a pure gold digger. All right, I'm telling you that right now. A woman that wants a man who has his own shit. Everybody knows that. But when you show up date acting like that right there, you just told her, listen, me as is not making the grade. So let me show you all this stuff I can do for you to sweeten the pot. So really, you're just making yourself look weak and like you have a low sexual market value. Of course, you're going to use their hypergamy against them, but you got to let it unfold naturally. Don't do no try hard move, you know. I let everything unfold. I usually try to hide my property, hide my cars and stuff. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, when a woman thinks you're hiding something, that's when she wants to see it, you know? When she thinks you hide in your place, when you ain't trying to lead with your property or your vehicle or your job, that's when she wants to see it. She wants to sniff it out. What you got? What you got? You see that some guys, when you ain't bragging about, oh yeah, I just got that new Bugatti. When you start doing that, they start to think you got a hoopty or something. That's the way it goes. So let the woman find out naturally. But you can get in this way. You can get in there with the male provider route by showing up with all this and the other shit. Now here's the comments to this, guys. It's a pure transactional thing. Okay? That's the con to it. She don't care about you at all. Nothing but a credit card swipe. All right, that's the deal. You mean nothing to her. Okay, the pros to it is she don't care to have any of your non-sexual attention because it ain't even about that. She don't even want to talk to you. You know, she don't value that from you. She don't really care about your non-sexual attention. What she cares about is what you can provide her. So that's the thing you're going to see with a beta male provider. It's typically a dude who's unattractive and stuff like this, and they don't want your non-sexual attention. They don't want to go out on dates and stuff like that. They just like to know that you provide for them. They don't really want to talk to you on the phone. So just understand that, okay? If you lead with that route, you still could fuck, you know, but I'm going to tell you, this is the deal. Getting in there as a beta, getting woman who find your charisma or physical totally attractive, they F you totally different, guys. Totally different. Alright? I have led with beta male provider route and I've led with the alpha route. And they F you a lot better when you lead with the alpha route. You don't lead with it. You don't lead with that. You let them discover it. Sometimes I'll go out with no jewelry on, and this girl told me to come pick her up. I didn't ask. If I ask, it's be like I'm trying to show off my car. She asked. If she sees me roll up in my Bugatti, she'll be like, "Oh, that's why you wanted to pick me up." But the thing is she asked me. All right, she asked me to pick her up. I didn't lead with that. All right, I don't ask girls. You want me to come pick you up? Girls is not stupid, guys. All right, you know, so don't lead like that. Let women find that shit out naturally.
If you're successful, just let them find that shit out naturally. Don't be showing up on the first date in a fucking Armani suit. Don't do that. Now, you can go to the club and do all that type of shit and that. But I'm talking about the first date. Let's say you met a woman online and you show up at a date and want her to pick you up, and you got your Versace suit and your nice car and all this. She's gonna label you as a tryhard. You're gonna lower her attraction because you come across as a guy who thinks he's not good enough. Let me make sure I got all these superficial things I got to compensate for the fact that I don't have my big dick energy. She's gonna think you a little dick, or you ain't got no game, and you can't lay the pipe, or you're a weirdo associate and you got no social proof. She's gonna think, what makes this man have all these insecurities that I gotta do like this? And I'm gonna tell you right now, whenever I see a girl that's half naked, I know I'm looking at a woman who's got a lot of issues mentally and is insecure. I'm not talking about a girl who's just sexy, but I mean, like, if they walk around with the Daisy Dukes and their ass out and the backless, strapless, you know she's very insecure because she needs every man's eyes on her just to keep that self-esteem level where she's comfortable having it. There ain't nothing wrong with a woman dressing sexy. I appreciate that. I'm talking about when I see a woman that's dressed like a slut. I instantly say that woman got to have a lot of insecurities and probably some trauma in her background. And because what she needs is all this validation just to make her feel good about herself. And that's the same way a woman sees you when you try to lead as a beta male provider. Showing up with your $1,000 watch and your boss red suit and asking if you can pick her up and trying to take her to a fancy restaurant in your car. She knows you have a lot of insecurities. All right, so expect a lot of shit tests. And that's what I was talking about when I said a woman don't test guys who have higher sexual market value. They test more. You know, a lot of times they'll see when you're trying to show a high sexual market value, they're going to start testing and busting more. They're going to start bucking more. All right, women are not stupid, guys, so just know that. The next thing is, we all high value males. We at the gym, we're on our purpose, we're using that high packing money against them, we're constantly grounding. Our time is scarce and limited, it's like gold. And when daddy's in the picture, they need to be celebrating. They don't need to be boring me with any boring ass conversation. We constantly improve in our life, and we let women fall through the cracks. You know what I mean? Like coins in the couch. Now here's the thing about that. Being a high value male, you won't fuck many masculine bees, if any. The feministic women who are masculine G.I. Jane women, the fact that you ain't blowing them up and stuff like that is showing you ain't submitting to them. And when you just hit them up one time and ask for a date, you don't call them more, expect a lot of flicks. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a lot of flicks from those masculine women. From those masculine women, the feminine women don't tend to do that. Now, let's say you met a girl on a Saturday night. When did you call her? You call her Wednesday, right? All right. You call her a date for Saturday. Saturday morning, you hit her up and say, hey, this is the location. Meet me here at 8 p.m. Does that work for you? If she sends you a text talking about, well, since we hadn't talked since Wednesday, I just assumed that the plans were canceled. But she never thought one time, can I call him? Did you get that? Did you get it? I thought the plans was canceled since we hadn't talked since Wednesday. I called you Wednesday. You ain't think you had to do nothing, huh, babe? You didn't think you had to do nothing. Let's take it, boys. Do 100 push-ups. course. So she didn't think she had to do nothing. You know what I mean? She didn't think. She says, since I ain't heard from you since Wednesday, I assumed the flight. Really? I mean, you know, if I would have called you before then, you would have lost interest because I would have seemed needy. So these are some of these women are just like, there ain't much winning. So you're going to have a lot of masculine women living in this feminist society who just insist that you do everything. You know what I mean? She sent you back a text talking about, well, since we hadn't talked since Wednesday, I just assumed the plans were canceled. But this female never thought one time, could I call him? Did you get that? Did you get that? I thought the plans was canceled since we hadn't talked since Wednesday. I called you Wednesday. You ain't think you had to do nothing, baby, huh? You didn't think you had to do nothing. Did you get that? These masculine G.I. Joe Jane women living in this feminist society think you're supposed to do everything. So you a high value male, you call her Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning you put it to make sure it's still on. She thought it was canceled. Oh, masculine G.I. Jane females. When you run into these females, expect a lot of flicks. Now, how the hell you call her on Wednesday, set the date for Saturday. Saturday morning, you hit her up with the location and time for the date. And this girl tell you, since we ain't talked since Wednesday, I ain't got to do nothing but show up. All right, guys. So as a high-value male, expect a lot of flakes from these masculine G.I. Jane women. All right, they think you're supposed to do everything. They want you chasing and climbing mountains, chopping the trees, and putting your coat over a muddy puddle of water. All right. Now the pros to it is that you're going to spend very, very minimal amounts of your non-sexual attention and very minimal of your money, because the reason being, as a high-value male, you think you're good enough as is, and we don't really talk on the phone, and we don't really do the hot dates. As a high-value male, man, we think we are equal, if not better. We think that we're the prize. We don't date down. We think that we're good enough. We can go tea, and that's fine. I don't got to take you to Mr. Childs to impress you. That's the high-value mindset. Obviously, a man to stay on his grind and purpose, you ain't got time to be pillow talking and cuddling all the time. But the cons is you ain't going to have many of them masculine bees. All right? I'll tell you that right now. And now the last one is the direct approach. Basically, ARC, Alan Roger Curry, direct approach. You only going to have bees who have a very high initial interest. That is to say, if you go up to a woman and she sees you as 9, you can have, but if she sees you as 6 or a 7, that being blatant and flagrant about your sexual interest is going to turn her off. So everything with women is how they perceive you. If you're not in 10 with a woman, you got a direct seductive approach, she gonna love it. Oh, I love it, man. You speak his mind. You're so daring. But if she sees you as a 6, and you say that exact same thing, she gonna be like, "That who taught you to talk like that? Your mama teach you any manners? You got anything?" You're gonna get butt shamed. Prepare to get butt shamed, Chris. If you were not a 10, I just love a man. Tell what on his mind. You're a 6 or 7, you're gonna get butt shamed, poison tripped. You need to learn some manners. You don't talk to no woman like that. It's all in what her interest level is, guys. And so that's why I don't like the direct approach in most instances. In most instances. If she sees you as a 6, you could have her on the first date. No, I mean, no, you can't. But after 3 or 4 weeks, you could. Now, the pros to this direct approach, mode 1 type thing, is you don't spend no money. Baby, we have it now. You still got the clothes off. You need to take those off. So that's the thing with the direct approach. You spend none of your non-sexual attention and no money.
So that's the thing with that, guys. There's cons and pros to all of them. My strategy is this high value male strategy, but I've effed females with all of these strategies. The friend route just takes a long time. You got to just wait till she's vulnerable, which is just the biggest piece of shit route to do. Don't even waste your time doing that. And you don't want to get good at doing that, because then you're going to stay doing that because it's what you're good at. All right? You don't want to get good at that. The beta male provider route is you don't get your dick sucked in the beta male provider route. You get fellatio, and there's a big difference. You don't get deep throat. You just get, put the tip in and just kind of slowly move it around at best. All right? That's the thing when you take the beta male provider route. And she'll have sex with you, but she probably won't let you hit it from the back. She probably won't ride you. She probably just do some missionary, lay up there dead like a lump on a log type shit. It won't be a real thing. You won't get that. You're not getting your last thing. That's the beta male provider route, guys. You won't even get the same interaction. All right, when you bed and stuff like this, when a girl generally cares or likes you a little bit, she lay arms and stuff like this here. Beta male provider don't get that shit. He's always gonna feel like he's just missing something. He just gonna feel not desired. Do not lead with your money, guys. Let her discover that shit. It makes you look like a tryhard. It lowers her attraction for you. All that other type of shit. Hide your car. Let her wander. All right, you take me home. And then she find out, oh, you got a Ferrari. Don't pull up in the restaurant, in full of the restaurant with the Lamborghini blowing the horn. Oh, you in there? Oh, I just pulled up out front. Don't do that trapper shit. Honking in front of the restaurant. Just make sure you're in there. Here, I'll go park. And you won't have no masculine needs because you don't pursue them. You think, oh, they're a little angel. So you don't have no masculine needs. But the good thing, and then sex with masculine needs is fine. And we good enough as is, and we're not blowing up your phone and doing all this stuff. Now, the direct approach is you only going to have FBs who have a very high initial interest. And the good thing about this is you spend no money and none of the non-sexual attention. Now, I like the company of women. I enjoy it. And this direct approach, it generally cuts off all that because it just becomes just about sex. So I like it for that, but I don't like it because it kind of generally cuts you off from just spending some, companionship time with women, and I like that. Talking to my man Asa the other day, and he was kicking game about he gets by with the nice approach, but he's a good looking dude. He's got the eyes and the hair, and he kind of rocks a little bit of a granola hipster vibe, a little bit, and he gets by with that nice approach, but the thing is he could probably do a lot better. He could be pulling mo bees, hotter bees, be getting these bees to do him a lot better. You know what I mean? The sex could be a lot hotter. But his bread and butter is off Tinder, and it's basically doing a nice guy blue pill thing. And there is success to be had there, no doubt. But I generally don't recommend that route. Now, if you get in the provider frame, in terms of if you're looking for a relationship, the woman's going to be asking, how much can I get from this person? How much does he have to offer, and how much of a pushover is he? All of these things are being determined. So let's say that you walk up to a girl and you start trying to impress her with, I have a good job and I'm very stable and all these kinds of things. She's immediately going to be putting you into a relationship frame. All right? And by that I mean like a standard boyfriend relationship frame. That's not going to be necessarily under your control.
Market Street.
Here's an interesting point. Most relationships that most people have in life are probably not the relationship that you want, you know? And so if you've ever watched TV and you watch them, the typical sitcom family, you have the browbeaten husband. You know what I mean? He's ubiquitous. The wife's always right. He calls her his better half. Can't believe it's because the woman has all the power in the relationship. She's the one that knows she could leave and go find another man. The man doesn't know that, so he's not willing to walk away. He loses the power, etc. And that's said from the very first moment. So understand that if you don't actively set a better frame, you're going to wind up in the standard relationship. And the standard relationship is one where the woman has most of the power. So that is why it's so, so critical to make that happen. And why is that? That the woman has most power? Because the woman can leave and find another man typically more easily than vice versa. So it's very, very critical what you're conveying.
Use any lane to turn right onto Market Street.
What else? Other things you should avoid from the very start.
Continue on Market Street for 1 mile.
You got to figure out what style of relationship you want. You can have open relationships, closed relationships, relationships where threesomes happen, and relationships where you're not together a lot and you have a lot of alone time. So take a little time to think for yourself. What type of relationships do you want? Because that's very, very important. You got to focus on intention, and then I'll explain why this matters. Take, for instance, you desire a sort of relationship where you're busy staying on your purpose and you want some free time. So you meet a girl, and let's say you bring up the aspect of taking a vacation together, spend a week together the first week you meet her. And let's say you do that, then all of a sudden you say, oh, babe, I got to work. How's she going to feel about that? She's going to resist because you set a tone early on that you would be the kind of guy who's super valuable day after day after day, and then you deliver. I'm going to be here once a week. Now sometimes she's not going to want to go backwards, and she's going to want to rely on precedent, but she's also going to be attracted by the chaos and the conflict and the unavailability. Let's say you want to have an open relationship where you can see other girls. You know, let's say like within an hour of meeting the girl, you're saying some judgmental things. Like she brings up a friend of hers and you describe the guy as a bad guy who's been unfaithful or whatever. So when you're trying to, a lot of guys use this shaming, judgmental game to try to show to the woman that they're such a great guy, better than other guys. So now you've poisoned that frame of having a non-exclusive relationship because you've set that frame of being judgmental about sexual mores. Now imagine you going in on an interview for a job, and you want a job where you're going to have a lot of freedom. If you come into the boss and your premise for getting hired is I'll bend over backwards and do anything for you, and I'll be the guy who's working till hour 13. The boss may be impressed by that, but once you're hired, he may pretty much kill you with work and always be disappointed. Always disappointed because you've set the bar so high. Let's say you go in for a job and you listen to some Todd B. dating, and you go in there and you let the boss sell himself to you and the company. When you get that job and the boss is coming at it with, I better keep it, it's kind of happening. All right, this is how it goes. And that's going to set the premise for your entire relationship. Never mind how you can negotiate your contract and how you're going to get paid. And I used to work in law firms, and I'd go in there with the first thing of, I'll do whatever you want, boss, you'd kill me. And then there'd be these hot young female associates, and it would be totally like they'd be acting on a pedestal, like this firm doesn't want to lose me, you know. And you let that play out. want to get in a relationship with someone where you've established that she's the high value person and you're the one that's got to work for her. Imagine if on day one you let him know, hey, you're interesting, but I'm not really sure, and you get her to chase her. No, why don't you like me? Everyone likes me, and she's the one chasing your validation. Now you've set up the right kind of frame for everything that's going forward. If I was in a relationship that started off the opposite of that, I'd just get rid of it and leave. You know, rather than try, it's the same as trying to get back in good graces after you've got butt hurt around a woman. You're digging ditches to try to reset that frame. If you're a competitive guy and you like to waste your energy, go ahead and give it a try. But I'd rather just be getting the milk and honey. You know, sex is a great equalizer. It does a lot for the relationship dynamic. So if you happen to get to a sexual relationship through some manner, you can switch it up, but it's much, much easier if you set the frame from the outset. So in this first interaction, the typical frame when they walk up to an attraction girl is going to be, I want to impress her. I hope she likes me. You know, you need to have more of a little pump frame. Like, I fucking bitch, I forget her name. Yeah, I can't remember if it was the sister or a cousin. I don't know nothing. You know, instead you walk up to her with, let's see if she's as cool as I think she might be. Or, I wonder if I'm still going to like this girl after I get to know her a bit. Look for to screen her. Look for some reason to X her out. Look for some reason to disqualify her. It shows you as a high value guy. If you walk up to a girl and she doesn't do anything to win you over, you just, hey, what's up? What's your phone number? Let's go on a date. And that's your approach. You need to feed her some scraps. You need to feed her some, hey, just this validation. What's to make her think that you're special in any way, and she hasn't impressed you with anything besides her looks. However, if you went up and talked to her for a while, and she said a couple cool things, and you said, wow, that actually impresses me, tell me a couple more things about that, but that I'm not that into. If there's an evaluative process and she feels like she had to compete a little bit, it's definitely going to make you seem like a higher value guy, and it's definitely going to set that frame. But there's a much more important reason for this sort of screening process. That being that it's not solely relative to evaluation and deciding if you're a good fit. It's about conditioning her to be the type of girl you want. Now you gotta train, condition the girl to be the type of girl that you want her to be. You're training her, conditioning her from the very start to know what you want. All right. So let's think of it like this. Girls can have a lot of different type of relationships. The very same girl who might be dating some traditional guy, you know, she might
In 300 feet,
she
turn
might
right
meet a
on
guy and won't sleep with him until the fourth date. But that very same girl, when she meets a club promoter, might sleep with him the first night. She meets a celebrity, she might do anything and everything. Maybe she just meets a guy she thinks is physically attractive.
Turn right onto
Girls are
16th
very
Street.
flexible in terms of
Turn
what they
right
can do in a
onto Market Street.
relationship. You know, if you meet them and you don't tell them what type of relationship it is you want, she's just going to be guessing. All right. She doesn't know what kind of relationship you want it to be. She's just going to be guessing. So you got to tell her. Me, I like the heavy on sex and fun relationship, and I let them know that up front. I don't want to be your therapist. I don't want you to be mine. Fuck all that shit. So I met a girl. I asked her, "What's the worst thing you've ever done, or what's the most trouble you've ever been in?" And of course, she didn't know how to respond. I said, tell me something like that you're willing to tell a guy that you've only known for 15 minutes. Then she sits there for about 45 seconds, not knowing how to answer the question, sitting there nervously. Why is she nervous? Because I haven't told her what kind of girl to be yet. You know.
Use the right two lanes to turn slightly right to stay on Market Street. Then your destination will be on the right. Your destination is on the right.
And I tell her, like, if you give me the goody two shoes answer, I'm leaving. You know, so then they'll immediately follow up and tell you a really scandalous story, a sexually scandalous story, which is probably what you want to get her into frame. But if you don't tell her what to expect from you and how to please you, she won't be able to do it, because you got to tell the girl what kind of girl to be, you know. Alpha means leader, bro. It means leader. All right, you got to lead. I'll be right back, boys. You do 100 push-ups.
All right, how'd those push-ups work out, boys? How'd those push-ups work out? You stay on your grind. You do those leg lifts. Fuck the crunches, do the leg lifts. Get on your back, lift up your legs. That's hot shit. Alright. There's a lot of research in history that shows that women are programmed to cheat and get the highest value DNA. The guy will stick around and provide. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same person. You know, that's the use of the lover versus provider strategy on the part of a woman, you know. That has to do with money and resources. Everything I'm talking about, lover versus provider, has nothing to do with money. Most people associate lover versus provider as, does the guy have money or not? And that makes sense. You know, if the girl's having a fling with the pool boy, that's not a provider sort of a situation. Just because the guy doesn't have the capability to be a provider. So, in a sense, being poor and having no resources can automatically put you in the provider role, and that's true. So I mean the opposite of that. You know, but provider's not just about money. It's about, do you have the willingness and the frame to spend that money? And that's something these women are going to want to know, you know. For example, let's say a girl hooks up with Leonardo DiCaprio. Does she think she's going to marry him? Probably not. Or Derek Jeter or whatever. You know. Cheats gets him a gift bag, you know. That makes a lot of sense, you know. So let's say Leonardo DiCaprio or Derek Jeter, they're not in that provider frame. Now maybe one day they'll get married and they'll be a voluntary provider for some girl. But they're not in a provider frame even though they have money. So that's the distinction. How is it that these people who are uber rich are not put in the provider frame? There might be girls who are in fact trying to gold dig them, you know, but they're not really perceived in that provider frame. It relates to how that money is framed. Is it put across as I'll buy you rent, buy you a new refrigerator? Or is it put across as we'll travel the world having awesome threesomes together? See, that makes sense. Do you see the difference? And this leads to one of my rules. I started out and came super poverty level broke, you know? So I couldn't be a provider even if I wanted to at times. You know, over time,
I've actually gotten to the point where I have a decent amount of money. I'm not hurting financially, and women can see that. You know, like a nice little penthouse in Chelsea. You know, a girl can see that you're not destitute. But one of the things that keeps me on point is I will spend money with a girl, but not on a girl, at least early on. Now, if you get into a relationship and have a child, you might spend money having a child. But from the get-go, I'll spend money with the girl, but not on the girl. You know, not on like mundane support shit. And that's very, very important distinction. I had a girlfriend who a couple times hit me up for like $800 for tuition at the start of shit because she couldn't get her loans or something because her GPA was too low. I'll take you on a trip and buy you a meat coat while you're there, and I ain't giving you money for your rent. I made her pay me back, you know, but I'm not buying appliances for her. If there's something for her to learn, I'll consider it, you know.
Turn right onto 16th
If
Street.
there's like a life experience value versus tangible asset value, that's a very key thing in terms of a lover versus provider. Are you supporting them, or are you giving them an amazing experience, something that goes beyond their normal experience? Then if someone earns that over a long period of time and you decide to really settle down with one, make her super important, you can eventually take on some of these provider attributes. However, the fact that you start out in a lover frame lets her know that that's there, and that's a bonus. You know, make sure she's there with you in the right frame. It can't just be about how financially successful you are. Like say in New York, there's a lot of guys that do well. The fact that you do well is not a bad thing in your game. It's an asset in your game. It just needs to be used in the right way, you know? All right. So let's talk about how to keep a girl after sex. That's the first stage in a relationship. The first stage in getting me on a hookup or a one-night stand, that sort of thing. It starts before the sex. All right, it starts with the framing. There's kind of a few different things. It's beautiful when you understand it, but there's a few nebulous wrinkles. Now, the first things that does matter is you got to figure out propositionally what is the value. Are you the higher person? Are you the higher value person? If she's chasing, it's going to make everything better. If not, it's not going to be good. But if she's chasing too much, or if she doesn't feel there's any possibility of some reality happening between you guys, if it's all value and no comfort, you know what I mean? If you give her all value but no comfort, she may not see a possibility. I'll give you an example. All right. Now, I've always been really good at keeping girls around after sex. All right. After sex, after I hook up with a girl, she's the one calling me the next day. She's the one wanting to consider things, etc. And that's in most normal situations. In about the year 2012, I was in Vegas for an extended period of time. And one of the reasons that I went there is I was always good at Vegas. You know what I mean? The very thing that made me, but sometimes the very thing that makes you good at keeping girls around can make you bad at getting one-night stands. You know? What works very good at Vegas is being superficial asshole fuckboy player Vegas style. You do very good well there. So within the first 2 to 3 minutes of talking to the girl, bring up something like, I don't think we should make sex tonight. So bring up sex and disqualify within the first few minutes. Vegas is a short span. Most of the girls I take home within Vegas, within the first 20 minutes or so, we're already talking about nasty sexual stuff getting out of there. Within the 20 minutes or so, when you're going to close in Vegas, it's very transient. You very clearly get across that you're not boyfriend and material. You'd be surprised how many of them eventually want you to be your boyfriend. But now, as a guy who's always kept girls around, and then you transition to a superficial fuckboy, and you might have, like, for instance, a week where I slept with 3 very, very hot girls in a week. They'd be asking for my phone number to see me again. So 1 week, I had these 3 girls.
Onto Valencia Street.
She was like, "Oh my God, that was incredible. You blew my mind. You made my day and my trip." And she left and didn't ask for my number. Now, granted, she lives in a different city, but that was kind of weird to some guys. You might send her home in a taxi, and she might tell the taxi driver how amazing you were. And you had that taxi driver later, and the girl gave amazing references to how amazing I was in the sack and in general. And that same girl, when she left, hadn't asked for my number, which was surprising. And the girl number 3 of the week, when she left, I was walking around and she was singing my praises.
Turn left onto Valencia
It's
Street.
like, exchange numbers in case I'm in your city, and she gave me a "ooh, no gross." But the reason was because I had set the frame of not boyfriend, girlfriend, not boyfriend material, no provider, all lover. So me even asking her for that ruined the entire experience for her, because I had set the frame so hard, as like she was seeing it as I slept with this super high value Vegas player guy, and then it's like I pulled the rug out from her afterwards, talking about getting in contact with you again. So now she just feels like I wasn't that amazing, cool, fuck a bitch, I forget a name, Lil Pump style player. So that overtly turned them off. How fucked up is that, boys? If you're sure you want to see her get it off, on the one side you need to have value. Have value. On the other side, it can't be a pure transaction. There has to be some level of comfort if you ever want to do a follow-up. That frame that the girl is kind of special does matter, and you need to know how to create that, boys. Something that's important in game in general is qualifying the girl, listening, and finding out what are the things that are good about her that are going to help her win you over. All right? Now, I need you guys to do another 100 push-ups. All right? And don't fucking sit there and twiddle your thumbs, boys. We're staying on our purpose, getting our bodies right.
In 200 feet, your destination will be on the right. In 200 feet, your destination will be on the right.
a lot of problems guys have when they're doing routine-based game is they don't get the girl to participate because the girl's not in take. Good on those push-ups, boys. Now, one of the problems is you're not finding out anything about her when you're doing some routine-based game. After one of those interactions, a lot of times a girl and guy sweep together, but there wasn't a strong connection. So, it wasn't something you resonated for. And that might matter later on because if she's thinking about seeing you again, it might kind of gross her out. Let's see, you've done things right, you got the girl back to your place, and you had sex with her. What should you do right after? What should you do for the remainder of the night from there? Let's talk about that. One idea guys think is to build comfort. I don't think you should future project about future dates and all that shit. I think you got to keep them guessing. You're going to sound, I mean, at most I'm getting some contact information. You see how it works. Let's talk about relating after sex. That can matter a lot to a lot of girls. After sex, stay a few minutes and build comfort. You know, especially if you're looking to get a relationship. One of the biggest things you can do to destroy comfort is just like leaving in the middle of the night destroys a lot of comfort. There was a girl I dated. In Phoenix. The first night we hooked up a little bit and we didn't sleep together, we became very close. And she told me throughout that it was literally the best date she'd ever been on her entire life. We didn't sleep together, but we were very close. Then we saw each other another time and I actually went to her place. I can't remember if we met or went straight to her place, but anyway, we wound up sleeping together. And she was super into it and enthralled, and the connection was amazing. But for whatever reason, I had left my phone out in my car. And I had some business thing to take care of. And so then I had to go get it. And she woke up while I was putting my clothes on and walking out the door. And she was super pissed and super. So this girl who had been like first date and most amazing date ever, second date doted on me the whole time we had sex. And after that, she didn't even want to phone up with me. And I actually came back and slept on the phone with her. But she couldn't get over it. She felt like I'd been wanting to try to leave, and she was so hurt. So she was so not wanting to be hurt in the future that she was just done with it. She viewed me as a non-relationship. Just going out to get my phone in the middle of the night hurt her too much. So staying around, letting it stay over is very, very powerful. But it can also make you look like a low-value dude. All right, this is depending on whether you want to go girlfriend, boyfriend, or you want to be alpha. I think you're always better off going alpha. Just don't go mode 1 if you want to have a chance to see her again. Everything after sex is perceived, everything pre-sex is perceived as having an agenda to get into bed. After sex, that agenda anticipation is there. Because she might look at it like, well, the first minute after you got what you want, you're walking out the door. So you want to avoid that. Now, ideally, what you'd like to do is have her stay around and build that comfort. However, here's the weird paradox. The point is to build comfort. All right. Let's say you hook up with a girl and she has to get out from work in the next morning and she just wants to leave. And you're like, no, stay. And you're kind of trying to get her to stay because you'd like to keep her around because you got no life. Well, that neediness is awkward. And instead of building comfort, it shows low value and builds discomfort and distaste. So it's this weird paradox and gray area where you want her to stay, but it only works if it appears effortless. If it appears that you care too much about her, that you try too much, now it's going to work against you. All right, especially if you're trying for her and she leaves anyways. Now then, that's really going to leave it against you. That's like when she breaks up with you and you continue to pursue. The way that you get to these different scenarios is very key. Okay. Now, for truly high value, in demand girls, I'm talking about those ones hooking up with high value or even celebrity type guys. When you get to that level, paradoxically, when you kick them out, that sort of builds more comfort. Because in this case, they're associated with all the other guys, the high value guys who have kicked them out. And so she's going to think you're one of those high value guys. If you try to keep her around, she's going to make you think you're not that high value. It's like that thing in Vegas when you ask for a number, she's going to think, ooh, no, gross, because she wanted to see you as that high value guy. So you might just, it's good to have a brand and have it so they're able to look you up on Instagram, you know, Girl Interrupter. If you liked how I did you down, let's just skip me asking you for your contact number. You hit me up. You hit me up when you're ready, you know.
Head southeast towards South Fitness Avenue, then use the left.
The optimal scenario is that you would stay and continue to build comfort. However, you have to keep your momentum and think of the variables. Every situation is unique, you know. So think of these as strong principles and not rules. All right. Understand that vibe matters a lot too. Okay. So along those same lines, being good and laying the pipe well helps a lot. All right.
Use the left lane to turn slightly right onto South Fitness Avenue, then slight right onto the US 101 ramp.
Some key tips.
4,000 feet, merge onto US 101 South Central Freeway.
Something about being good is not so much about technique, it's just listen to her. Listen to her without being that guy who's losing all his value and just a dog on a leash. When I say listen to her, it doesn't mean sit there and do nothing waiting for her to give directions. It's that super and sexy. Okay? And don't ask for permission for shit. What I mean by listening is make a strong move. Do something from your past sexual experience that you like, think will work, good or bad, something from the woman. Do something, make a strong move, and then see how she reacts. Did she really get pay attention? Did she like it? Did she look great at me? Did she look okay? Did she shrivel up? You know, smack her in the face a little bit. See, if she likes that, then maybe choke her a little bit, smack her ass. You'd be surprised how bored these girls are with vanilla sex. You know? You'd be surprised how much they'll tell you if you just listen to them, what feels good. If you do that, you're going to do much, much better than if you didn't. First time you see a girl, you shouldn't talk too much about what she likes in bed, because it takes you out of the moment. But after you've had it a few times, the conversation really listening and finding out listening is really, really useful. Listen to find out. You should have some blueprints for the different girls so you can see something they like. Say for example, and she likes it, and you just light each other. She likes it very, very light each other. things that go along with it. She likes you to pull her hair and smack her ass. You know, she might like you to tell her she's a slut and she's getting fucking booked. One thing I like to do is say, this ain't no missionary face-to-face fucking girl, turn around, alright? That girl's probably going to be a little blueprint and she likes it a little rough, you know? Press her and just nibble on her neck a little bit. She might like that slow and soft and nice kind of thing, right? Then you should get better and better at sensing this stuff. You want to date with the girl, do some little tactile thing, and how she responds to it. You start to get a sense of the sexual movements before you even take it to the bed. Listening to her is going to be key. When you do this stuff, you'll grow into be a sexually competent lover. The clitoris and the G-spot, if you don't know how to find it. Like if this is her vagina, the clit is right up there.
Continue on Bryant Street for 3/4
It's
of a
probably
mile.
not going to be very big if she's not real wet and stimulated. You might have trouble finding it. Once she is more turned on, it'll be much, much easier to find. Also, if she's not turned on, you don't want to touch it firmly yet because it'll be painful to her. If you touch it when you're not aroused, it won't feel that hot. If you touch it when you are, it'll feel better. It's a lot like your penis. All right? There's a lot of different ways you can touch it. Slow and not very firm is not a bad way to go. But you don't want to lose out with those girls who want you to be an animal and savage, too. So you got to sense that. And, like, you're going to kill the whole savage vice if you go slow and not very firm too long. You know, the G-spot is slightly in different places in different girls. Essentially for that, just think if your hand was like this and you're reaching in where your fingers roughly meet something in that general area. And you can be feeling around with it and you'll know more strongly. And with certain girls, it feels a little bit like a butt. All right, if you ever seen a picture of red blood cells in anatomy class, it feels like there's a big sort of inner tube ring sort of there. And that works. And even if you're not there, there's a little kind of bone. If you hit the backside of that bone, that's pretty close. So that's another very good one to use. More important than being in the right spaces and the right places in general is understanding if she seems to like it softer, or rougher, or faster, or slower, and adjusting to that. So rhythm and manner of touch, and don't forget to use your voice. That can be very powerful. So can be words. It's pretty essential that you give an orgasm the first time you sleep with her. That helps quite a bit because the cells suppress it for a lot later. All right, it's not going to happen every time. There's some girls that are very easy to make come. There's some girls where it's not easy at all. And then there's some girls that they never come in their life. And even if you amazingly love her, they're just too damn nervous. Okay, I've had girls squirt the first night, but don't be a perfectionist about it. The seeing that you care and want to try does help and will reflect well on you. Similar to the kicking the girl out thing, is you want to try to a reasonable point. But if you're going to be like, I'm going to try for 6 hours because you haven't come in, and I'm not going to let you go to bed without, that can seem a bit much. It can seem like outcome dependent sex, and it can seem like you're trying to compensate for something. I'm going to try to make you come, baby, but if you don't get on with it, I'm not going to treat it like it's the game 7 of the World Series. If you want a girl, that might turn her off. If you want a girl to be more your girlfriend, like Nas says, never eat the pussy on the first night. If you want her to be your girlfriend, you can't just be straightforward sport fucking. You want to be there a little bit of intimacy, but you want to be light on the intimacy that first time. You want to be light on the building, but give her little crumbs. So if you want to get a girl to be your girlfriend, those are some
good little sex tips that will help. Now, here's the key idea for making a relationship work is that everything is negotiable. You want to have a type of relationship with a girl where you can see tons of other girls and she barely ever sees you. She does all kinds of sexual things with you. It's totally negotiable. Okay. However, that'll be harder than a traditional monogamous relationship. So negotiate it, you're gonna have to bring more value to the table. Okay, but anything is possible. So don't think that this is a good girl, she won't ever have this kind of relationship. A lot of people are bored out of their minds and they're dying to have something interesting like that in their life. Okay. If there's something you truly want, you can probably find someone and train them to do that thing. But just understand, the more high wire esoteric outside of the normal thing it is, the more you're going to need to bring it to the table. All right. And then you got to consider what's the fundamental thing in any negotiation. It's not what a good negotiator you are, it's whether you have value. You know, let's say you are really into cookies. Like you just fuck them. All right, boys. We'll pick this up later. Do 100 push-ups.